Hey, getting lots of interest in the tax sale that I've been showing the list in Dekalb County, Georgia, and even people helping me with the correct pronunciation of Dekalb County. So thank you for that. So end of day is approaching, so I had a couple minutes just to show you a few things about the tax sale. So first of all, the question is, how do I find this tax sale list? So let me show you on my iPad. I'll just pull up the tax sale list. So it'll take just a moment. So we're just going to go, here is obviously Google, and we're just going to type in Dekalb County tax sale list. That's what we're going to do. And then you'll see here, you can see tax sale listing, Dekalb County Tax Commissioner, Dekalb Tax Commissioner. So just press on that. And then you're going to come to the tax commissioner's website. And this shows you that this is the December 2022 tax sale, and this is a listing effective as of November 10th. What happens with these listings is they're going to change as people run in and pay their taxes at the last minute. You're going to see this list change, but there will be properties definitely sold at the tax sale. There always are. You can see right now there are 355 properties on the tax sale list, so quite a few properties. And this is the actual listing itself, and we can see there's quite a bit of information, so let me go over that with you. There's the map reference number, which is really the tax assessor's ID number. Not a lot that we need to do with that right now. Tax sale ID, that's, again, nothing we need to talk about. That's just how they internally identify this tax sale. This is the current owner of the property, so anything from a financial company, GLA Financial Solutions, to individuals, Janine Storch, Felicia Jones, Anthony McQuarrie. Get the address of the property. Of course, they're all in Dekalb County. And then this is interesting. Look at the total taxes due. Not a lot of money, $2,000, $1,500, so just a few dollars. And this is actually how overages come about, these small amounts of money. So when you get these tiny amounts of money that are owed, when the property sells at tax sale, it's typically going to sell for a lot more than the debt, especially if the debt is like $1,500 or $2,000, which it typically is. Then you're going to see that the property sells for a lot more than that. And the overage, which is the business I work in, is actually the mathematical difference between what the property sells for and the tax bill that is due. Just as an example, I can show you what some of these pieces of land are like and what the process is like. So, for example, we see we see properties or you see the address, so that doesn't tell us a lot. There will be quite a few that will just be vacant land that I'm not particularly interested in, but you might be interested in buying at a tax sale, for example. And so you can see some of the properties. Like, let's just take an example. We have this one on Ricky Rucker, 2170 Barbara Lane, owes $2,700. And the question is, what can you do with that? How do you find further information? So what we're going to do is we're going to just switch. And I'm just going to start off looking for them in Zillow. So I have to just look up that. So it is 2170 Barbara Lane. So let's look at that. So we'll put that in Zillow and see what comes up. 2170 Barbara. There it is. 2170 Barbara Wood Lane, Ellenwood, Georgia. Oh, check this out. So this is a house, which is cool. So, wow, nice little house. Looks in really good shape. It's not on the market, which is interesting, and it's valued according to Zillow at $232,000. Now, of course, with Zillow, it's not an appraisal or realtor's assessment, but I could easily believe that's a $232,000 house. So certainly not. Let's look at the tax sale listing. The Barbara Lane, $2,788. This house is not a $2,788 house, and they have lots of pictures of it. Really nice. I take that for $2,788. How about you? And another thing about these tax sales is they do come free and clear of mortgages and other liens, because the tax sale actually strips away mortgages, so you don't need to worry about mortgages. There are other things to worry about, but mortgage is not one of them. So that's an example. Let's take a look at another one. Let's just try a random one here. Let's try, 4511 Ripplewood Drive. They owe $1,547. So 4511 Ripplewood. I'm just going to go over to Zillow. So there it is, 4511 Ripplewood Drive in Lithonia, Georgia. Yeah, another house. Sweet. Cute little house. This is showing me the Google Street View. Wow, nice neighborhood. Really nice. Wow. So that's the house there. And again, it's going $1,547.90 is the amount of taxes that are due. So this is going to be a screaming deal. So the other thing we could do is we could look at realtor.com, see if it's listed there, because sometimes you'll see things there that aren't on Zillow. So let's put that in there. So 4511 Ripplewood. There we go. Enter. Oh, nice. So this one, nice house. Realtor.com says Open Door would offer you $189,000 for it. Terrible pictures, but looks good. I like it. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3,200 square feet. Wow. Last time was sold for $89,000. And again, if we go back to the tax sale listing, this place is being listed for $1,547. Now, everyone is not going to be a house. Some are going to be pieces of land. Many will be houses. And the relationship between the overages business that I do and the tax sale is that when a property sells for more than the taxes that are due, like for example, when there's $1,200 worth of taxes due on a $200,000 house, it's going to sell for a lot more than the taxes. Probably sell for $160,000, $170,000, assuming it's in decent shape, like the houses we're looking at. And if a house sells for $160,000 and they only owed $2,000 in taxes, well, there's quite a bit left over. It's $160,000 minus $2,000, which would be $158,000. That's how overages are created. And certainly there's some other deductions like cost of sale, blah, 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 but nothing major. So that's how we get big overages money, and that's the relationship between the two. Now, you can certainly, go and there are lots of properties, 355 of them. And just so you know about these sales, so you might wonder, like, what's the process of buying at a sale? So the first thing to know is that all the properties will not be sold at the tax sale. That's for sure. So you're going to have many where people are going to run in and pay the taxes. That sale is the first week in December. It'll be the first Tuesday in December, I believe. There are lots of people that are going to run in and pay their taxes at the last minute, but not all 300 of them are going to do that. There are going to be plenty where there's money left over, where you could go in as a buyer. And typically a tax sale, you're going to buy probably at 70 to 80% of retail. It's always it depends on local competition, what's going on at that particular sale. But generally 70 to 80% of retail minus whatever people think the fix-up costs are going to be. So that's kind of the range. At tax sales, it is a tax deal. You're not able to get a mortgage and close in any traditional way. You don't get title insurance. You have to take care of getting rid of anybody who's living there. So there's lots to consider, and I'd be happy to talk more about that and get more in depth on another one of these or a live if my staff wants to set that up to tell you more about the details of buying at sale. But just know that it's not a traditional sale like you have a settlement with a realtor and title insurance and all that. It really is more of a cash business where you get great deals, but you have to know what you're doing and have to do the research. But your first research is just to check, what's being sold at tax sale. Is it a little piece of vacant land, or is it a nice house like these ones we've been looking at? So you want to do that. You need to see a bunch of houses because many of them will pay off their taxes before the sale. So you've got to look at quite a few houses. And if you do that, though, you will have an opportunity to buy places at the sale. And certainly, if you're considering attending one of these sales, one of your first steps would be to do this research, look at some houses, and then just attend the sale, not ever intending to bid. Just attend the sale, just watching to see what's going on and sort of getting the lay of the land. And the other thing I wanted to point out to you, and I'll just go back here to our handy dandy iPad, and I'm going to do this DeKalb County tax sale. And what I want to show you is they also have this thing, general information. That's going to give you kind of the rules of sale. And certainly if you're considering buying a tax sale, you want to read through these and start to understand them. So this tells you some general information like tax sales are held each month, generally from April through December. They can cancel them or add them, usually at the first Tuesday of any month at the courthouse steps. They tell you about notice of sale being published. They put them in the local newspaper as well as online. Obviously, the easier way is typically online. They tell you the bidding starts at the total of taxes and costs, and then it's just sold to the higher bidder or highest bidder. In Georgia, there's a 12-month or 1 year, same thing, right of redemption. What the right of redemption means is that the old owner or the owner who owns the house at the time of the tax sale has the right to come back, pay their taxes, plus pay you 20%. Let me look at this. I think it's plus 20% of what you bid, if I remember correctly. And it says it in here. I just forget the details at the moment. But anyway, the bottom line is that if you buy the property at the tax sale and the owner comes in and redeems it, meaning pays the taxes within a year after you bought it, you get a nice fat profit anyway. You don't get the house during that first year. You can't do anything with it while that rate of redemption is running. But if they do redeem, which is rare, but if they do, you're going to make a bunch of money anyway. So you're in pretty good position once you buy. Anyway, this gives you a whole bunch of information. Again, you can click here. You learn about conditions of sale. For this sale, you have to do an advanced registration, which is very, very common. And you got to be careful with this. A lot of people got hung up in the advanced registration because they don't register. And then they go to the sale and they expect to bid and they can't because they're not registered in advance. So any sales you're looking at doing, this one or any other county, always check to see what the registration requirements are. There are requirements sometimes that you prove that you're up to date on any taxes on properties that you own in the county. So you do need to just again, be aware. This is the kind of thing that you'll first do some research before you start buying a house at tax sale. Learn about how to do it, and then you're going to go ahead and do it. So just not something you dive into, but can be a very, very profitable way to acquire real estate. Sometimes people use it as a way to acquire a house to live in. Really cool. And so let me think of some other things I can tell you about it. You do need to drive by each property that you're thinking of bidding. There's no legal way to go into the property unless the owner lets you in, which I think most of the time isn't going to be what happens. There's no open house. So you need to just drive by, see it from the outside, assess it as best you can, and bid accordingly. Now, lots of people go and peek in the windows. You're not supposed to. It's trespassing on the property, but lots of people do that. One of the things that I like to look at is I look at the roof carefully, even from the street, see if there's any sign of any like holes in the roof, any signs of fire or other damage. Vacant houses often have substantial amount of damage to them, and lots of people do poke, peek in the windows in those vacant houses, just to see what's going on. An occupied house is likely to be in much better condition, but then you got to deal with the tenant and getting rid of them. So, that can be costly and time consuming. Anyway, the tax sales can be a great way to acquire properties. It's not for someone to just rush into and stumble into. And what I would say, if you're interested in more of this, then certainly like this video, follow me. And most importantly, if you could put in the comments section that you'd like to know more about this and learn more about it, then let me know that, and I'll go deeper into tax sales. I'm happy to do it. I've bought properties at tax sales for years, know lots about it, love to share with you. But just to start with, why don't you have some fun? Why don't you do the Dekalb County tax list, do the Google search. I know I pronounce this incorrectly, and people are all upset with me for not pronouncing it correctly, but I'm from Pennsylvania, folks, so I don't necessarily know the regional way to say anything other than if it's not in Pennsylvania. But anyway, why don't you do the search for Dekalb County tax sale, take a look at the list, go onto Zillow and Realtor.com, do a little digital research into the properties, get a feel for it, and look at the terms of sale, look at the bidder registration process. And if you're interested, if this is hey, this is something cool I'd like to pursue, if you're in that area, attend the sale. I think you probably have to register in advance to even be able to attend, but it doesn't cost anything to register. Register and attend the sale. And just check it out. They're sold typically every month. Like it says, it's the first Tuesday of the month. So they're always tax sales. And they can be really good ways to acquire bargain property. And, now with what's going on with real estate, you probably get some real bargains in there. Maybe a house to live in or maybe a house for rental. It's fun. And besides, auctions are fun. I guarantee you, as much as I can guarantee anything in the world, that you will have fun. It's an interesting day at the auction. And it may be something you decide to do for a career. It's certainly something that I did for years and did really well with. So Again, if you want more information, please just like this video so that I know that this is something people are interested in. And then in the comments, just let me know what you'd like to know more about. And I'm happy to share with you. I'm also happy to talk about overages. The relationship between overages and these tax sales is when the property is sold at tax sale and it sells for more than the amount that's owed, then that creates the overage. And the overage is basically the mathematical difference between the amount that's owed at tax sale plus the costs of the sale, a couple of the miscellaneous things, and the bidding amount at the end of the tax sale. So that's how that works. Anyway, I'd love to tell you more about it if there's an interest. So let me know if there's more interest, and I'll do that. And otherwise, hopefully this was interesting and you had a good time with it, and I will see you soon.